Oh God. I'd really like it if this was some horrendous murder-inspired fantasy moment. But no.
There are euphemisms for it, like time of the month, Shark Week, Daima, which translates roughly to big auntie from Chinese, or commonly known as a period. For me, one of the strangest facets of today's patriarchal society is the stigmatization of period products and feminine hygiene. I remember being in high school, having to hide pads in my big jacket sleeves as I ran discreetly to the bathroom. Heaven forbid should anyone have to see a piece of white cotton and plastic. We live in the 21st century and no one should participate in this culture of concealment. We need to talk more about menstruation, regardless of what gender you identify with. Just like Sally Dammery says in her cultural study of menarche, in many cases, older women are the only educators in their attitudes towards menstruation, both positive and negative, were transmitted in their guidance. And although menstruation is often seen to only belong to the quote-unquote realm of women, men still exercise the wider social and religious control over periods. This, of course, has improved over the centuries, albeit not entirely perfect, with higher education becoming more and more accessible to women. Which is great because the more we learn, the more socially acceptable it is to talk about these issues, and in turn gives more women more control to talk about biological processes in our body that shouldn't ever be taboo or shameful in the first place. In the words of Jen Gunter, it shouldn't be an act of feminism to know how your body works. Now, you're listening to me talk, and maybe you're thinking, I don't menstruate. What does this have to do with me? Well, other than menstrual shame and the physical and social discomfort of women, we can also talk about the ecological impact disposable menstrual products play a role in the world today. National Geographic states that pads are on average 90% plastic, and more often than not, after disposal, this packaging is usually found on beaches. Not to mention, 7 billion tampons end in landfills every year. A period lasts for about 3 to 7 days, once a month, for an average of 38 to 40 years in a woman's lifetime. And each woman uses a minimum of 5 pads or 20 tampons per cycle. And about half the population goes through this. It's a lot of plastic waste. Not to mention the cost it takes to exist in this world as a menstruating individual. Menstrual hygiene has become capitalized to oppress women financially because we don't just buy the items that soak up the blood. We buy the extra underwear because of bloodstains. We buy the medication to manage the pain that comes with it. And we buy the skincare or acne medication to manage the crazy levels of hormones physically evident in our skin. And we buy the chocolates and crisps to manage our cravings. Not to mention the pink tax, a gender-based price discrimination so women pay extra for specific products and services. So, we may have the vote, but we are nowhere to being equals. Just because it isn't your blood doesn't mean that you don't share the burden. The only way to begin to move forward into a better and more equal world is if we eliminate shame and start talking about menstruation.
I think my period's coming.